Do you feel stuck in your job and it's time for a change? Well, today we're going to talk about 10 reasons why you're not advancing in your career. Now, some of these are going to be internal, and some of them are going to be things that you can't control. My name is Dr. Kristy Taylor. I'm a career and executive coach and founder of Work Solutions LLC. I like to say that I help the people who help the people. So if you're an agent of change, a social impact professional, someone who wants to make a difference in your community, I am the career coach for you. And today we're going to talk about 10 reasons why you're not advancing in your career. We know that as social impact professionals that it's easy for us to get burnt out because we're often dealing with limited resources, limited personnel, but we still want to make a change and make a difference and be an impact. Well, what happens when you've given it your all and you're still not advancing? Well, these 10 reasons and 10 strategies that I'm going to give you today actually focus on things that you can do to help yourself get to the next level. But I'm really going to drill down in terms of why you may not be advancing in your career. Now, again, some of it can be internal to the organization, right? So the first thing that you always want to do is take a look at the organizational culture that you're in. If you've tried several times to advance, but still can't seem to get nowhere, maybe it's time to change your job, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is the lack of visibility. One question that I want you to ask yourself is that, are you actually leveraging your network and attending industry events? And I would caveat that by saying, do you actually have a great reputation? Do people know you? If someone says Dr. Kristy Taylor, I always think, what is it that people think and know about me? Well, there's lots of social proof online in terms of the work that I do with clients and coaching. So I hope that it's always great things, right? So when you talk about visibility, you have to be seen. You have to leverage your network, be connected, be part of professional organizations, attend industry events, make sure that you have a great reputation, because I like to say that I help the people who help the people, but really also, it's also about who you know, right? That's going to help you get to that next level. Number 2 is poor follow-up. Now, when you get into these relationships or you build these connections with people, how are you following up? Are you maintaining those connections? Are you offering helpful solutions? So to me, leveraging a network or building a network is no different from me being a coach or a business owner. I have to be able to offer people solutions. So it might be that little conversation that you have with someone where you offer them a solution or get them to think differently about something. It kind of plants a seed. And when the next project or job opens up, that connection that you build will provide you with an opportunity. The other thing is just simply not asking for help. So one, are you attending events to make yourself visible? Are you following up with people? And are you sharing meaningful information, right? Impactful information, things that are going to really make a difference? Are you able to showcase your talents and skills without giving some, canned speech about who you are? I always tell clients, if I ask you what you do when you start with, depending on the event, right, or which connection that you build, have a little bit of personality in your personal pitch and let the discussion flow naturally. Nobody wants to ask a question and get presented with someone's whole resume unless we're actually in a job interview. So just be mindful of that, right? Now, with all of that in mind, the third thing is not asking for help. So are you actually hesitant to seek advice? Are you actually hesitant to get feedback? Because if you're not progressing in your career, one of the things that I would be doing as I'm trying to move along, the same thing I do with my clients or when I'm testing new products or just want some ideas. I not only share information because I want to make sure that I'm helpful, that what I'm sharing is valuable and meaningful. Oh, it's solicit feedback. So you should be doing the same thing for your career, right? Asking for help. You should be asking for feedback and advice about how you can improve, asking for mentorship, not being afraid to ask. My mama used to say a closed mouth don't get fed, right? So again, I pointed out earlier, if you want to be a change maker, but you have no change to spare, part of that is simply because maybe you're not asking your worth. You're not asking questions that's going to help you move to next level. Now, number 4 is something that I talk about a lot with clients, and that's limited online presence. Now, right now, LinkedIn is very popular. TikTok is popular, and I'm not telling you to go out and start a TikTok account, but I definitely always advocate for my clients to have be present on social media, at least on LinkedIn, in a professional manner, right? Sharing articles, sharing information. I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn, Dr. Kristy Taylor. You can type in the social impact career coach. I come right up. And so you want to be available. Your LinkedIn page is kind of like a web page for you because it's very SEO rich, and you might not even be familiar with what SEO means. Basically, search engine optimized, which is, if I Google your name right now, most of the time, in most cases, the LinkedIn profile is going to pop up. But the second thing that a LinkedIn profile does for you is that it serves as a verification of the work that you've done, because you are connected with many of your colleagues on LinkedIn. And so that information is on your resume. It should be able to be verifiable with your LinkedIn presence. And someone who has served as a hiring manager, when I'm either having interviews with individuals, I will either check before or after to see what their online presence look like. Now, it's one thing to have an optimized LinkedIn or online presence, but also you got to make sure that that's professional, right? That all of your social interactions, including Facebook, are professional. So I don't recommend, doing unprofessional things on social media, because it can't come back to haunt you. Now, number 5, failure to offer value. I said this earlier. When you're making these connections with individuals, make sure that you're offering them some value. They might run an idea across here. You just kind of make a comment, share something that you've done in the past. Make sure that the conversations that you're having are organic in nature. Because again, if I'm, seeking to connect with you, and we practice so much this whole perfect picture, tell me something about yourself, that's great. But what about your personality? Be able to share things about you that kind of helps the conversation flows naturally. And then when you're in conversation and they may be mentioning a problem that they're having, maybe you can offer some suggestions or share something that you've done in the past, because that always has worked for just kind of letting people know, here are the experiences that I have. And again, that comes based on the reputation. That helps to build your reputation, because you offer someone who is in a pinch, you offered them some great advice that they were able to take and see some results with. So when you talk about having mentors or sponsors, the people that are going to champion you in the room, it's always that person that said, I remember when I said I had this problem and Kristy stepped in to help, or, just remembering those little things that you've done along the way. That doesn't mean that you have to overdo it, right? Because nobody wants to work for free. But it's okay to kind of just give advice conversation-wise and share experiences. Now, and that's what I mean by offering value. When we talk about number 6, it's the inconsistency. One thing about building a network and efforts is if you have the network sporadically. So when we talk about the 10 reasons, should you leave your job, or things to consider why you're not advancing in your career, most of the points I'm giving you right now are just things that you could be doing to advance your career, because you can't always control the internal environment that you work in, right? So I've had clients who tried to go up for promotions several times. They get turned down. They've asked for feedback. Maybe they've not been given feedback, or they've been given feedback. They continue to adjust and try to do better, but they're still not making progress. That's what you can consider, like, okay, if I'm not going to get to where I want to go in this organization, I have to set myself up to be able to leave and make a transition. And part of that is making sure that I have a strong network and a great reputation in place. So be consistent about your networking efforts and the reputation that you're building for yourself. And then also remember, mindset is everything. When I started this business, I was both a career and a mindset coach, and I still very much am a mindset coach, even though I'm using, everyday language like career and executive coach or social impact coaching. Look, rejection happens. If you have a fear of rejection, get over it, right? Build a bridge and get over it, because people say no all the time. But the only way that you're going to know if somebody's going to say no to you is just by simply asking the question. So if you're afraid to reach out to your contacts, to make those connections, you got to kind of build a bridge and get over that, because that's the only way that you're going to get to the next level in your career. I've already mentioned number 8 several times throughout this video, which is basically leverage your connections. Don't forget to tap into your current network. You've worked hard to build that network. People are going to know you by your reputation. So it goes back to number 7, just not being afraid to ask, hey, I'm going to look out for a job. I'm going to look out for my next career strategy. Make sure that when you're doing that, though, you're doing this within the parameters of the job that you already work, in terms of, are you following their rules and guidelines? But that's why it's so important as you go out and build a network, that you're making sure people know you by reputation and professional, because sometimes people will just come to you with opportunities because they know who you are, right? Number 9 and 10 is one of the reasons why you're not progressing, which is what I find most common, is that even though you have this heart and passion for helping people and connecting with others and being a change maker, all of that, all of those words sound good and great, right? But did you actually sit down and plan your career goals. Are you sure what you want to do next? And are you sure how you want to leverage these connections that you build, this network that you build? So one of the things I encourage you to do is not only to build a network, but to be clear about what your plans are. It's okay to plan for your future. It is okay that even though you are a change maker, even though you're somebody who wants to make a difference in your community, you can do all that, but you can still have a 1 year goal, 3 month goal, 6 month goal, 1 year goal. What is it that you want to do? Because again, we work in this industry where the resources are limited, personnel are often limited. You're doing multiple projects. You're managing multiple. You have multiple irons in the fire at once, and so it's easy to get burnt out. You are building this valuable skill set, and you need to plan for your career. And the last thing is, again, when you're leveraging that network, don't forget to follow up. There's nothing, hey, if I give somebody some great advice, I'm always going to follow up to say, hey, did it work for you? Or if I share my experiences, I'm going to just follow up and check in with them. Because again, not only did you offer that advice to build that connection, you followed up to kind of see that shows your ability to follow through. So again, top 10 reasons why you're not advancing in your career: because visibility, poor follow-up, not asking for help, your limited online presence, failure to offer value. But again, that does not mean that you need to put together a 20-page PowerPoint slide for somebody, without being paid for that. Your inconsistent efforts and just your fear of rejection. Focus on leveraging the relationships that you have with other people and develop some clear career goals. It's kind of like that thing where people say, well, it's being rich is not the goal. Why not? Right? Why not being wealthy? Why should there not be a goal for you just because you are a person who wants to give back and are humble? But we know that we come into this type of work, we're not going to be rich. But that's beside the point. That does not mean, and what my point here is that you can still work to get to that next level while still having in your mind, like, I want to make a difference and I want to do something meaningful. It's okay to want to get to the next level. And don't allow yourself to get so burnt out that you get what we call passion fatigue, right? Where your heart is so connected to the work that you do, but you end up getting burnt out and not, maximizing your full potential. So I like to help you get to the next level. I'm going to be offering a free workshop, Race for Success workshop. Stay on the lookout for that. The link is in the bio. Click that. You can register. We'll be offering these workshops, so it'll be available free online for you to take, because I want you to think more about how do you get to that next level, especially if you're frustrated. This workshop is going to help you to clarify some of your career goals, understand the importance of career branding, and visualize yourself in your next career. And it's also going to help you to master some of those interviewing techniques that's been holding you back. Have a great day.